and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Beacon. I'm your host, Haley Dutton. This week, we have a special episode as we honor the first and only UMass Boston men's basketball head coach, Charlie Titus. With Coach Titus's last game scheduled for this Saturday, we spoke to the 40th year head coach about his time behind the bench.
We had a vision 40 years ago, and I sold that vision to some of the players that we recruited over and over again. So we had hopes, we had dreams, we had aspirations. Along the road, we were sort of trying to make sure that we were fulfilling those dreams and aspirations, that we were doing everything we could to give our basketball team an opportunity to grow and to develop and to become, a premier team in the sports world, particularly in New England and hopefully around the country. And it was the role model in the leadership position for the rest of the sports here at the university. It was the first intercollegiate sport that we had. So, being a part of that has been amazing, and it's not a daily thought, but when you look back and you say, gee, this is where we were in 1974, gee, this is where we were in 1982, or gee, this is what happened in 1992, it's sort of like, wow, we've been doing okay. Anytime you win a conference championship, that's an accomplishment that you got to be proud of. Particularly in a conference like ours, it's so doggone competitive, and you don't get a free ride at any night. You got to go play every night. I think the 206 championship was a great accomplishment for us, and it was made even sweeter because my son was a part of that team, an important part of that team. A tournament in Miami, it had a couple of Division III teams and Division II teams in the tournament. And the first game, we were matched up against Georgia Southern, which was actually a small Division I team. They were big, 6'10", 6'9", 6'10", and I'm sorry, Georgia Southwest. We were supposed to get killed. The morning before we played that game, I was down in the hotel. It was a hotel on the beach, and I was down getting some breakfast. And all of a sudden, I heard this chant, and I looked out, and it was our whole team running up the beach, chanting. And I'd never seen them do anything like that before. And they ran right by me, and I looked at them, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? They said, we're getting ready to play, Coach. We went out and won that game. We won it. And the coach actually was so upset, he wouldn't even shake our hands. He put his kids in the van and just took them home. So that was a favorite moment. That was a good one. AJ is a guy who, listen, he grew up in this program. I remember being at practice with AJ in my arms as a baby. There are pictures around here of AJ in the huddle as a little 4 or 5-year-old with the team. So he knew UMass. He went to summer camp here for the summers, and this was home to him. It's rare that you get an opportunity to coach your son. There have been some father and son combinations, but not a whole lot of them. And when you have an opportunity to do that on a team that's a championship team, and to watch your son make the sacrifices that are necessary for his team to win. When we went to play the championship at Keene State, who had beaten us twice that year, and for AJ to step up and just sort of take over that game and to score big time. I mean, he hit critical buckets in that game and became the MVP of that game. Those are special moments that most people just don't get a chance to enjoy. There are a couple of things, and you look at the signs. One is, I never, ever, ever wanted to feel like I was an old coach, quotes. And I don't feel like that now, but I can see it coming. So, when you can see it coming, you're saying, the energy level is, I still have energy, but it's not the same. It's not the same energy level. There's never been a time that I can remember from the time I was, 8, 5, 6 years old, whenever I started playing back with the old Columbia Point Tigers, that I was not in a basketball season. I wasn't preparing for the season. I wasn't a part of a season. There was a vice chancellor here named Lee Tubbs who took a chance on a young 24-year-old guy who had no coaching experience. And then in 1980, he took a chance again on a young 30-year-old guy who had no administration experience and made him the athletic director. So I owe so much to Lee, and sort of his willing to take the gamble, his mentorship through those years, and his belief in me made a big, big difference in my life and my career. And of course, my wonderful wife, who's been with me through this whole journey, and she started with me before the journey started. So, you know, it's hard to go through and not say thank you to those people and let them know how much they really meant to me as I went through this journey. Far too many of them for me to name, but they're there, they know who they are, and they need to know that I know and that I appreciate their being on the journey with me and making sure that the journey was a good one.
The Beacons will honor Coach Titus after Saturday's Senior Day games against Western Connecticut State University before heading on the road for the Little East Conference Tournament quarterfinals this Tuesday. Thanks for watching. I'm Haley Dutton.